Come in.
Hello, Mr. Longview.
How
Kyle
are you?
Hagemann, sales rep at
How are you?
ADP. How are you doing today?
Good, I'm good. Just call me Alex.
Okay, Alex, thank you for that. Do you mind if I sit down? Have a seat here.
Have a seat.
Great,
Make
thank you so
yourself
much.
make yourself at home.
Thank you very much. This is my business card, so you have all my contact information.
Okay.
Do you have one as well?
Absolutely.
Very good.
One second. No, where is it? Put him here somewhere. There you go. There you go.
Lots of pockets in these suits.
Too many pockets.
All right.
Too
Thank
many
you.
pockets.
Thank you very much for this. Now, I have to say, I'm extremely excited to be here with you today.
Okay.
My fiance and I, we just celebrated her 21st birthday at one of your locations.
Oh yeah, really?
I mean, the atmosphere, the friendly wait staff, and the dining experience was just fabulous. So
Oh,
I wanted
good.
to thank you very
Really?
much for that.
Okay. Well, let me write that stuff down. I have to thank who's ever serving.
Mark
you.
was our server, actually.
Mark?
Yep.
Okay. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. We appreciate that from our servers. We're trying to create a homey feel. Did you
Exactly.
feel like you were at home at
I loved
grandma's
it.
house?
And she's half Italian, so going over to her house for Christmas and the holidays, I mean, we were right at home. Right?
Okay.
So,
Cool.
so thank you for that. Now, I do understand, I mean, you have a lot to take care of, and I don't want to take too much of your time here
Okay.
today. So for the purpose of time, I'd like to set an agenda for today's meeting
Okay.
where I feel we'll both benefit from. Do you think that sounds good?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'd like to start out by getting it to better understand Portobella's restaurant.
Okay.
The internal workings. Then I'd
Okay.
like to see what services the ADP has that I feel that would be a benefit long-term value for you.
Okay.
And then if everything makes good business sense today, we can move forward in a manner to your liking. Does that sound all right?
Sounds excellent.
Great. Before we get started, is there anybody else you'd like to include in today's conversation?
No, just me. I mean, Patty. I would love to include her, but she's busy.
Okay. No problem.
She's a very busy woman.
Okay, understandable. Now, when making a decision on some services that I propose today, can you tell me a little bit about that process?
The decision process.
Yes, exactly.
It would, obviously I would have to have a conversation with Patty and my wife.
Okay, and your wife.
As well. Wife is always involved in everything.
I'm starting to learn that being engaged. I'm starting to get those notes down.
You'll learn that very quickly. That she's probably going to make the final decision. So.
Okay.
No, but we have a conversation with Patty. If it makes sense, we'll make the final call together.
Okay,
I
very
trust
good.
her enough. And I listen
Exactly,
to
you
her.
have to. I mean, especially running a business like yours. Now, can you tell me a little bit about your responsibilities within the restaurant and what you specifically take care of?
Okay, I oversee each restaurant.
Okay.
I'm not really as much of a technical guy, so I just come in. I say hello. I have a conversation with the managers to make sure everything's running well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always a phone call away. I look at the reports they send me every day.
Okay.
How many people came in, how much they spent, how much profit we made, and all that good stuff.
Okay.
But pretty much I let the managers run the show.
Very
If they're
good.
not doing well, then I make sure that I spend a little more time at that particular restaurant. And a lot of my time, I sign checks, sign the payroll checks, which takes a lot of time.
Right.
I guess that's the way you have to. That's the way you do business.
Exactly.
We're actively looking at better opportunities. I'm starting to get involved in the marketing aspect of the organization.
Okay.
That's how we've grown. Marketing is helping out a lot.
Very good. And I understand
See my
that.
commercial?
I did. It was fabulous. And I was just going to also commend you on the expansion in the 90s, taking it from one restaurant to 10. I mean, you were involved in all of that?
Absolutely.
Very good. Well, you did a great job. And
Appreciate it.
I know you're steering a large ship, and you said some of the things that I got from you right there were mainly that you sign the payroll checks, you like being in conversation with the managers and involved in the decision making, you like seeing reports and knowing exactly where you are. Now, specifically involved with your payroll process, can you walk me through that and tell me a little bit about that?
Okay. I'll tell you as much as I can. I try to stay away from that because Patty stresses. She's stressed out. She doesn't even want to talk about it. But what happens is, we have the old the punch cards that we use. Each employee punches in and punches out during the day. The managers collect the punch cards. They add up the time based on whose punch card it is, and then they call it in to Patty.
Okay.
Patty gets all those times together. She puts it in her spreadsheet, and she sends it on over to Paychecks, and then they have a conversation about it.
Okay.
A long, strenuous conversation about every single restaurant and the time, and Once that happens, then we get the checks. I sign them,
Okay.
and off we go.
Very good. Now talking specifically, I know it's a touchy subject with Patty, and you don't want to give her any more stress. Can you tell me a little bit about what contributes? Has she ever explained to you what's really stressing her out, what she thinks she could improve on?
Well, she's telling me that the people are stressing her out the most. I mean, the people that call in. I'm trying to absorb some of those phone calls for her because, people, it's manual, so they're having issues. With a manual process, you tend to have mistakes.
Exactly.
It's human nature.
Can you tell me a little bit about, sorry about that, can you tell me a little bit about one of those mistakes and how it directly affected you?
Let me think of one. The other day, one of our top cooks,
Mhm.
he was, we shorted him on a paycheck, and
Okay.
he was extremely unhappy, and because of it, he didn't come into work, um, which is unacceptable.
Mhm.
Everyone makes mistakes, but I guess he was stressed. That's a very stressful environment, and I guess he just couldn't take it that day. So we couldn't serve our customers the way we should have because he was gone. He's a very important part of our restaurant, our business.
Yeah.
And we made the mistake. We clarified it, but we had the one issue where he couldn't come in, so
Okay.
he didn't want to come in, and I don't like that too much. That definitely impacted the business. I had to stay at the restaurant. We had to give the families that were there. We sent out coupons so that you come back to the restaurant.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking personally, how did that make you feel when, I mean, your cook kind of didn't come to work, so that it affected your customers, it affected not only their experience, but through word of mouth, it could have gotten to other customers.
Oof.
Do you see that impact of that continuing?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, if ADP had a specific solution to not only tackle Patty's stress time to alleviate some of that concern, but also reduce the errors because an automated payroll process is going to be a lot more efficient, but a lot more accurate than a manual payroll process. I mean, we're all human, so
This is true.
obviously.
I agree, but also with the automation comes cost.
And really, what I'm here to tell you about today is how we can save money for you through these different automated services,
Okay.
and that's really going to increase your profits. So, if I had a solution for you today that you'd like to hear, would you like to hear more about that, like I previously explained?
I mean, absolutely. If you could save me money,
Very good. Now,
I'll
from
sit here all day if you could save me money.
exactly. I mean, we're in business, you know. So besides the payroll time, directly related to that top cook, can you tell me a little bit about your HR process and how you manage not only your employees' time through payroll, but also different aspects like hiring and firing, background checks? Can you go into detail with that?
Are you sure? You sure you want me to?
Is that a sensitive subject?
It's all manual.
Okay.
We're trying to. We're growing so quickly that it's becoming a nuisance dealing with the HR situation.
Okay.
And the hiring. We do it. I do some of the hiring. We have the managers that are involved as well. So that's a process they go through. I mean, it's an everyday thing. They interview people every single day because there's a lot of turnover.
Exactly.
Obviously, you being a server, I'm pretty sure you understand, the turnover that you have
Yes,
in
yes.
the restaurant business. It's the nature of the beast.
Exactly. With that high turnover and with time spent on interviewing candidates, can you tell me a little bit about, I mean, if you have an opening in your restaurant, how many resumes flood in that you have to sift through, as well as spending time on those interviews?
I mean, it costs the managers. They spend a lot of time. A lot of their day is spent on sifting through the resumes and trying to find the proper person to interview.
Yeah, and when their time is being spent elsewhere besides with the customers and the employees that interact with those customers, I mean, that's a lot of time you're taking away from your end client in the customer.
This is very true.
Now, do you see, would you be interested if I told you that ADP had a service that would specifically identify hiring as well as sifting through those resumes, giving you the best candidates available for every position,
Okay.
And really giving your managers the time to spend with your end customers and employees?
Yeah, that would sound good, but again, it sounds expensive.
Exactly, and like I went back to today, I know cost is a big issue,
Right.
but what I'm here to tell you today is how you can improve on your profits, kind of cut out some of that profit leakage and time you're spending on
Okay.
other things. Now, can you please tell me how you feel when tax time comes around?
Ooh, that's
I don't mean to
That's a
make this a
strand.
bad meeting for you.
No, that's it. I'm glad you mentioned it because we're going to go through it again. It's coming.
Okay.
And, we usually brace ourselves. The laws change, so, who has time to look through the laws and see what changes are made? And,
Mhm.
I mean, Patty handles most of it, but that's a lot for 300 employees, that's a lot for her.
Exactly.
And, I try to take on the, I don't even want to talk about it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It's just too stressful.
No problem, and I don't mean to stress you out right here, but that's what I'm here to alleviate is that stress, especially when tax time came around. Now, if ADP offered you a solution that would take that burden off of your shoulders when tax time comes around, we call it the tax time fever because everybody's not feeling well whenever tax time comes around, and really be able to manage your payroll process and include that so you know exactly where you are. Would you feel a benefit in hearing more about that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Okay.
Taxes are very confusing.
Exactly.
If you guys could clear that up for us and help us out, point us in the right direction, I think that would hold some value.
Very good. Now, is there?
Again,
Oh, I'm sorry.
cost.
Yes, exactly. Cost. You keep referring back to costs, and that's what I'm going to get to in the presentation. But before I continue, is there anything else we haven't talked about today that's really on your mind affecting your business?
There's one thing. Signing checks. I sign the checks, and it takes a lot of time. I
Exactly.
was wondering if there was a way for me to not, to be able to not have to sign all those checks every single time that payroll season comes around. And that might be a way.
Okay.
What if I'm away? How am I going to get those checks signed?
Exactly.
So
Right. So you're looking for a solution that might alleviate that end process where you have to be there, sign the checks, send them into the employees. And I'd like to tell you a little more about that service as well.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to jump into our presentation here. This first visual that I have for you kind of shows you from the past we used to be mainly payroll management. Now we've kind of extended our solutions out. We have the time and labor management, which we
retirement
talked
services.
about.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly. We cover the 360-degree view of your employees. So it's very efficient. I can leave this with you if you have any future questions for you. Now I'd like to jump into the payroll because what I'd like to essentially do today is give you a day in the life of yourself using our services.
Okay.
So you feel a little bit more comfortable there.
Okay.
Now payroll, we talked about Patty's taking a lot of time. There's sometimes errors that end up costing you money with your end customers,
Right.
the customers in the restaurant. What the payroll service is initially going to do is allow for payroll processing anytime, anywhere. It's an online-based system.
Okay.
So there's no need for the managers to call into Patty, give her each time card. But what's also nice about this is that payroll can be calculated, previewed, and processed in real time.
Okay.
This is all going to be taken from the time cards and sent to ADP. We calculate everything for you, giving Patty more free time, less stress, and less tugging on your shoulders. Does that sound like a fair benefit?
It absolutely does.
Very good.
It does.
Now, the next service I'd like to talk about is your HR. We talked a little bit about the hiring and sifting through resumes. What ADP has to offer is we do pre-screening and background checks for you.
Ooh.
And then we handle all of that. We do
I
a
lose half of my staff if you do that.
Oh no! I'm sure you hire great employees. If you're seeing that expansion that you're doing a great job in hiring. We just want to help you with the time you're spending there.
Okay.
We're going to put together a customized strategic hiring criteria that's going to sift through those resumes for you and ensure you that you're getting the best possible candidates for each position.
Okay.
Does that sound like a benefit to you?
Absolutely.
Great. Now I'd like to go into the tax because I know we talked about the tax fever and nobody likes it. Basically what our tax service does is we're going to automatically calculate those taxes for you. We know all federal, state, and local jurisdictions and their regulations. I know you mentioned about earlier. That's kind of hard to keep up with. We take care of that as well as we allocate those funds so at the end of the year you're not hit with a big money to come up with in a rush to fill those taxes. Does this sound like a benefit to you?
Absolutely.
No.
That's. I'll say. Let me write that down.
Okay.
Let me write something down here.
No problem.
Number one.
Okay. Now with your permission, I'd like to take the time to set up a meeting next week with yourself and Patty, where I can take this information home with me, get a customized solution, end up saving you money, but also showing you how. Does that sound all right to you?
Yeah. I mean, it's a big change.
Exactly.
But, I think you've shown me how this could benefit my organization, and I think we could set up another appointment for next week.
Okay. How does Monday sound?
How about Tuesday?
Tuesday sounds great.
Monday's rough.
Well, thank you. I will give you a call and we can set up the time. I appreciate your time today.
Okay.
Mr. Longview, and
Alex.
Alex, I'm sorry. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You
okay?
too.
Make sure you come hungry.
I will.
You always have a nice little spread on Tuesday.
All right, thank you so much.
Have a great day.